Oh yeah, pop out chat. Pop out chat. Hi Claudia. Hi CDD. Hey Keel. That's what's going on here. Put that there. That there. Hey Paul. So it seems as if this message needs repeating a lot. Oh yeah, before I start, welcome to the Sunday night talk on, I'd like to say non-duality. We call it non-duality, but really it's a talk about the nature of reality. It's a talk about life. I really should have set up properly. There we go. Talk about life. I do this every Sunday night, usually. And what else? I do private sessions, one-to-one Skype sessions, and they are very different from this because it's really good for me and a person to discuss together, for them to go into a lot of detail about what's going on for them, and for me to sit there and literally pull that rug from under their feet. So I do that. And on my website, there is my book, my 2 books, and they're both on Kindle now as well. And donations gratefully accepted for this talk, even if it's just £1. Doesn't have to be much, but it'd be really helpful for me. Oh yeah, I do a Wednesday night chat as well. Hi Ella. Do a Wednesday night chat as well. That's a private group. And you can find out details about that on my website. Hi, Joe. I was trying to sort this out. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Anything else? I often do a webinar at the end of each month. But my parents might be here, so I need to check with them. If they're not here that day, I shall do a webinar, which is it's about 8 of us maximum usually, and we discuss this, and gives people the chance to ask questions more in person than this, where we can talk on video together, and that is not recorded, so there's space there for people to feel a bit more private about that. So yeah, sitting here speaking about this, literally, I'm sitting here talking about this. What's this living room? Because there's nothing else happening here. There's just a living room. There's just speaking. Oh God, the video is really annoying. Please bear with me. How about that? Okay, so arranging my pages here. Okay. So I'm literally talking about the nature of reality. And the nature of reality is all there is what is happening. And that seems to need to be repeated. It's like the person has to hear it over and over and over again until it kind of almost sinks in a way, until those illusions are either instantly disintegrated or slowly pulled apart. It can happen either way. It can either slowly go out, or it can just end of the story. But what I'm talking about is not to help the person. This doesn't help the person. And if you're listening to this for personal help, you're in the wrong place. I know none of you guys are in the wrong place. But you're in the wrong place if you're looking for an improvement for the story, because this doesn't improve the story. There's a possibility that this will completely end the story, because the me has to live in story. Without story, the me is either dies or panics, and then makes the story to fuel itself. Stories are the fuel of the me, and they can be really subtle as well. There can even be stories about this. This is this way, and it's that way, and it's, there is no me, and there isn't me, and there's this, and there's that, and all these like stupid arguments about what is happening, when what is happening is what is happening. There isn't anything else to it. But for some reason, the person, well, not for some reason, for the obvious reason, the person, because it lives in a feeling of dissatisfaction in time, can never see this. Excuse me. I should drink more water. I forget. I get so into painting, I forget to do anything else. So story is the fuel for the person, for the me. And the biggest fuel to the personal story is seeking, and especially the spiritual path. The spiritual path is like grade A fuel for the me. It's like the best fuel, because it's an endless path. The spiritual seeking path is an endless path. It never gets anywhere. It never goes to anywhere, because it doesn't exist. There's no paths that exist. They're all just in the imagination. They're all made up. Enlightenment is made up. It's a story. The me is a sense. It's a sense that feels separate. But it all goes on in the brain, maybe. It's invented by the brain, becomes a psychological apparent reality called the me. But it's not a me at all. It's a total delusion, a total illusion, calling itself me, my life. And then it has, with that comes the idea of time, because before there was the me, there was no time. There was just child running around and eating and crying and doing whatever children do. There was no time. Time came with the me, because time and the me have to go together. There's no me, there's no time. It's the end of it. So even planning for tomorrow is never really about tomorrow. It's just what's happening. The human still lives in time, and it's known that it's not real. Hi, Timothy. Hi, Richard. Timothy, so you are no more enlightened than you were than when you were 2 years old. No, that's right. Yeah. It's like going back to being a 2-year-old again, except for with the learning and the experience of an adult. I didn't know how to do the dishes when I was 2. Now I know how to do the dishes. The things that we learn to do. But it's no more enlightened than a 2-year-old. It's literally life without a story of somebody living this life. It's exactly the same. except for totally, totally different. But it looks the same. There's no experience. It's the end of experience. That's why the sense of self is so kind of panics sometimes, isn't it? When the message really kind of goes in. Anarchy, yeah. Anarchy. This is anarchy. Yeah, it is anarchy because there's no more borders, no more boundaries, no more rules. No more rules. Doesn't mean that Lisa's going to get up and go and, nick a car or something. Yeah. Mainly because I don't want to steal someone's car. Secondly, I don't want to get arrested. But it is anarchy because there's no more rules for the person. I have to be a good person. I have to be a well-behaved person. I have to be a likable person, acceptable, loving, loved, good enough. Now all that goes on in the story. So literally freedom is exactly what's happening, but without that. And without that, what is happening, which is exactly the same, is revealed to be the aliveness that it is. And it's not that it lights up. It's not that Lisa suddenly is one with the table or the wall. It's revealed that this is all there is, and this is absolutely alive. Utterly alive. And beautiful. And there's an in loveness with it when that's there. So when the sense of self goes, there is no personal state. There's no constant state of bliss or happiness or peace or anything like that. The human is just part of the appearance. It's no longer the special part of the appearance. There's no more self-centeredness. That I am the center of the universe and everything revolves around me. Everything just is as it is. And it's absolutely one, absolutely whole. Timothy, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, when there's no beholder, there's only beauty. But it's not beauty as personal beauty, like, you see a beautiful sunset or you see an ugly trash on the floor. It's not that kind of beauty. It's more of a wonder. More of a wonder. And it is a wonder. And it's what everybody who seeks is wanting. It's what everybody's wanting. And it's right here. It's right here. And that is the beautiful irony of this message. And when I speak to people who say the same thing, oh my God, it's just here. Hi, Paul. It's just here. It's just this. It was here all along. How did I miss it? I missed it by looking for it. But the looking for it can't be helped because the sense of the self that's its engine. That's its engine. It runs, seeking for my fulfillment because I'm lost. I'm separate. I've been kicked out of the garden, which is another part of its story because it was never kicked out of the garden. There's only the garden. The garden was already here. It's already here. It's here. And it'll always be here, but not in time. It'll just always this. And I'm going to ask you a question. Has it ever been anything else but what is apparently happening? Has it ever been anything else? Even if you even if you look back, it's still this, isn't it? Looking back. And now it's fresh again. It's fresh again. So a minute ago, it's still this. It's always just what is happening. No matter what you think about, no matter what you believe, because a belief is this. Tomorrow is this, because it's a thought. I am. Okay, so I am open to questions. Joe, it can't be talked about, only pointed to. You can't even really point to it. Yeah, hey Maddie, a guest. Maddie with a question mark. Paul, never. Only the thought story wants to change things. Yes, never. It's never been anything else. And even when the me story is running amok, it's still this. No matter what's happening. I got an Amy Winehouse song stuck in my head because I was listening to her earlier, and it's still this. Singing in my head is Amy Winehouse. Doesn't matter what it is. There's this horrible story of personal enlightenment. And the person thinks, I will see it, I will get it. What we're talking about is the end of that, the end of it. And then life is just simple. Life is just what is. Oh, God. I get that song stuck in my head. I always think it's pulled me out, but no, it's okay. Of course! Yeah! Like when I'm painting, I got this job where I'm painting, and if I forget to bring my music, I just let a playlist run in my head. And sometimes I sing out loud. I just let it run. It runs in my head. It's like having speakers on, but it's running in my head. Earworms, yeah. Yeah, I always get earworms. Yeah. I always think it's pulled me out. No, not at all. Who would it pull out? The whole idea of I being pulled out is a story. It's really annoying. It just is. My teenage neighbour's annoying. It's one of those really irritating voices that shouts a lot. But Joe. The whole idea of being pulled out is just another story. Pulled out by what? By who? A song is going to pull out an imaginary me? Oh no, the song's pulled up an imaginary me. No. There's much chance of that as this tissue sitting on my table. Oh no, the tissue. The tissue's here. I can't stop looking at the tissues. It's made the me come back. Nothing is making anything do anything. If the me appears, it's not because of anything. It's not because, it'll make up a story about that. Oh, I've gone backwards, or I've lost it. No one ever had it. And nothing's been lost. You can never lose this, because it's always the case. You can never lose it. Losing it's part of the story. Getting something's part of the story. I've got it. I've got it. Story. Got what? I've got what it means to be sitting in a room. Doesn't mean anything. I always stop myself. I should let it sing. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I'm going to say yeah to that. I'm not going to get all non-dual on it. Yeah, screw it. Let it sing. Why not? What difference does it make? Because if you stop it, then you're going to be going, I've got to try and stop it. You might as well let it sing than the effort of trying to stop it, because it's harmless. Music is harmless, even if it's going around in the brain. Thoughts are harmless, and especially musical thoughts. This brain's on the go a lot. You know, I'm walking around, I'm thinking about a new painting I want to do. That's no different from an earworm. Hi, Martin. How do you free yourself from attachment? Don't. Attachment. Attachment. I don't know the answer to that, because what I talk about has got nothing to do with a person being free of a personal story. You see, to me, well, what's wrong with attachment anyway? I could say that I'm attached to my daughter. I have an attachment to her. I have a bond with her. She's my daughter, the best human in the universe, as far as I'm concerned. Why would you? It's only it's this personal identity with attachment that's the problem. But obviously, sometimes attachment is just a personal story. But I don't talk about that here. I'm sorry, because I just don't have. It's just not a thing I talk about. That's a kind of a more psychological, possibly spiritual kind of message. Well, what I'm talking about is none of that. None of that. This is not psychological, and this is not spiritual. Free yourself from. Well, no one would be free of attachment anyway, because the whole idea of someone being free is part of the story of the person that's trying to be free. It's all the same story. I'm attached. I'm alive. This is my life. I need to be free of this, this, and this. Paul. Yesterday or the day before, I became fascinated with my left hand. Yeah, I know, little. I love things like that. I get fascinated with crazy stuff. But it was like for the first time I'd ever seen it. I couldn't take my eyes off it, lol. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I get fascinated with water. I put my hand in it, and I'm fascinated the way the hand goes into this thing, this seemingly solid thing. It just goes in. So I do know what you mean. Timothy, no matter where you go, you can't run away from yourself. No, because it would be the same one. I running away from myself is the same one. It's the same one. It's called the person. Getting rid of attachment is not turning back. I don't know what that means. This is not about getting rid of attachments. This is about getting rid of being a person. But you can't get rid of it. The message is either clicks or it doesn't. Or slowly clicks in, slowly. Like I know it does for people here. I know it does. Yes, I can't really talk on attachments. I don't really care about attachments. I care much about attachments I do about Hare Krishna. There's so many people who talk about that stuff, and they are much better at it than me. I'm just, as I was saying with Corey yesterday, I'm just like a little bird in a tree, tweeting, life, life, life. This is life. Here, here, here. This is life. This is freedom. This is not advice. This is never advice. I don't give advice, unless I do personally as a friend to somebody, but not here. Lisa Cairns is the one who can answer those things. I'm here to talk about freedom, utter freedom, boundless, restraintless, free fall freedom. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I love. Because I love this life. I love this life. I love this table. I love this wall. I love you guys. I love the light coming off the screen. I love that. That's it. That's it. Everything else is just a story. Hennessy, say there is no person. Isn't that just another story? No. There is the appearance of a person. Nobody can deny that. Up it comes. I'm me, I'm lost, I'm searching, I'm me. But that is not a person. That is not who you are. That is a psychological, energetical appearance calling itself me. It's learned to call itself me from everybody else calling themselves me. But it's not who you are. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God that this human wasn't the person she used to think she was. I'll be still bloody going to Muji or something, singing songs and hoping like hell. Oh dear. Going to sit around in temples in India or whatever the latest thing was that I was doing to become enlightened, which never happened because the whole thing is made up. The whole thing is made up. So there is no person, but there's an appearance of something calling itself a person. I just want to make that clear. I don't deny the appearance of something being called a person. I know that happens. It happened here. So what sees it? What sees it? The human sees it. Who sees the computer? The eyes. What thinks? The computer, the brain. The body and the brain and everything works perfectly fine without something claiming that it's doing it. In fact, I would say that the body-mind works better than ever. More lazy, maybe, but it definitely is more clear without the interference of this neurotic sense of being a separate person. And what sees that that's a person? That was a person called Lisa? Because it's obvious. It's as obvious as the sun shines. don't need to be somebody to know that the sun is shining. Is the sun shining? Yes. How do you know? Because it's bloody shining. It's just shining. I don't need to know it's shining. It's just shining. This is the thing, you see. The person thinks that in order to be free, somebody has to see that. The freedom is freedom from seeing. The freedom is from the burden of seeing, this what burden of awareness. Don't need to see it. This doesn't need an imaginary person to see it because it's already here. It's that obvious. Yes, beautiful. Yes, yes. Timothy, it sounds like you're saying there is a God, and it sounds like you're saying there is not. Yeah, God's always a really tricky word, isn't it? I think God is a word that originally was given to the mystery, the unknown. There is only the mystery. There's only the unknown, the unknowable. This life that appears as walls and tables and birds and insects and flowers and dramas and news and human life and mountains and sky and stars and like the myriad forms that appear. What is that? That is life. You could say that is God. That is intelligence. That is wonder. That is a mystery. That is everything. That is everything. Which is not set in time. It's not solid. It's always moving and forming. And the person has nothing to do with that. The person is totally trapped in its own little separate world, while all around it, this amazing, beautiful appearance is constantly here. Incredible. So you could say, yes, it's God, but it's not not God as a separate being who sits there in judgment. He, white male, sits there in judgment. I don't mean that. Nonsense. That fairy story. I'm probably going to offend a few Christians now, but hey, you know. Hennessy, the impersonal sees it then. No. The impersonal doesn't exist. There is only just what is happening. Does this need to be seen? Why does something need to see the table? Why does the human have to invent a structure called something, awareness or impersonal, disassociated seeing, to see it? It's already here. Everything you're looking for is already here. The wall is already here. Why does it need to be seen by an imaginary person? It's clearly here. This seeing thing is a, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, it's so hot. It's like 36 degrees in this room. Is a dogma that comes from the whole spiritual doctrine of Advaita, Vedanta, and all these other things that I don't know what they mean, but I know that they come from that. All this awareness teaching, witnessing, awareness. What are these things? They're all the me. When you're walking down a road and you're just walking down a road and you're just like having a drink of water and just looking around, is there something going, I am aware? Or is it just walking down the road? You see, walking down the road for the seeker is never good enough. It's never good enough just walking down the road. There always has to be something better. I'm aware. I have to be free. I have to be free while I'm walking down the road. That's just a story that's made up. It's all made up. Joe, it is because it already is. Yeah. Tiffy, are you saying we are candlesticks and all that we see is a vision? Vision? No, okay, I'm going to keep this really simple, Timothy. All there is what's apparently happening, and that can't be known. It's not a vision, it's not an illusion, it's not a dream, it's not this, it's not that. It's sitting in a room. It's the room. And it's absolutely alive, because it's here. It's here. Everything you're looking for is here. Hi, SS. It's obvious. This life here, full, but the mind keeps finding faults. How annoying. That's fullness finding faults. Fothinghale's mind. What thinks thoughts? The brain. So I hear. Martin, how do you know you're not deluded? Because if I'm deluded, then I'm deluded just sitting here in a room, saying sitting in here in a room. I could be deluded. I could be like sitting somewhere else and imagining that I'm sitting in this room. Martin, can you describe this freedom? What does it feel like? It feels like sitting in a room. Hi, Kim. It's so simple. It is. Freedom feels like sitting in a room. Except for no one's looking for the room. How do I say this? This room is life. What more can there be? There is no more. Fothinghale, the brain is a concept. Yeah, well, I said, so I hear. The brain thinks thoughts. Thoughts happen. There we go. Do they happen? So what was the question? What thinks thoughts? Thoughts. They're just thoughts. They're just thoughts. What makes weather? What makes thoughts? They're thoughts. Thoughts happen before the thought. Who's making them? They're just there, aren't they? They're just there. It says, yeah, life is simple but not easy. Yeah, it's simple. It's simple, but not easy. Not easy for the me, no. It's looking for it. It's looking for sitting in a room, thinking that there's some sort of magical ingredient it hasn't got yet. Martin, how can you thank God when you say there is no God? Oh, come on. I'm not even going to go there, okay? Joe, instead it thinks censored. Fothinghale, yes, thanks. Yeah. I try to be as simple as possible. And I don't get into semantics, okay? They're tedious. I'm too old for semantics. There is no person is a thought then. This is more semantics. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I've already explained it. There is an appearance in the body saying, I am separate, I am a person, and I need to be free. And I am saying, I'm only going to say this one more time. I am saying that is not a person. That is an appearance calling itself a person. There are no persons. There's only an appearance, a psychological, energetical appearance calling itself a person. Is it a thought then? No, it's more like a condition. The person is more like a condition. Separation, the feeling of being a separate person, has happened in the body. And that has been building up, building up, and building up until sometimes it gets out of control. And then the person the human goes seeking for relief from that. And some humans seek for that in buying new things or finding a relationship or going from job to job or whatever. It's always seeking for wholeness. It's always seeking to become complete again. It feels unwhole. It feels separate. And so therefore it goes into spirituality and and non-duality as well, thinking it will find the freedom there. But it won't find the freedom because the person is an appearance and the freedom is not found by a psychological appearance, an energetic appearance. It's energetic because it's become constrained and tight in the body. It's become contracted and fearful. Hi, Corey. I think sometimes words can just be an expression without some kind of paradigm or conceptual meaning. Yeah, I say thank God because I've said it all my life and I'm not going to change it just to be, non-dual correct. Another trap. Non-dual correctness trap. Hi, Phyllis. Hi, Donnie. Joe, sense who you think you are. Well, that's a minefield of a sentence, Joe. It says, so everything is happening on its own, really. Yes. I mean, is it? I'm going to ask you the question. Is everything happening on its own? It clearly is, isn't it? If you really look at it, the sky is happening on its own. The space is happening on its own. The things in the room are happening on their own. This body is happening on its own. There's no one deciding to do this. It's happening on its own. Yeah. It's nothing to do with the human. The human thinks it's the center of the bloody universe. Timothy, if you don't believe in God, then what is a spirit? Isn't God a spirit? I don't know anything about spirit, God. All that stuff just doesn't interest me, Timothy. What is God? What is spirit? It just doesn't interest me. I don't have any kind of religious leanings. I dabbled. I've tried in my past. But, I don't have any religious leanings. I couldn't care less, actually, about spirit and God, because they're all just concepts. I've never found spirit. I've never found a God. You call it aliveness. Okay, is that what he's asking? If you don't believe in God. I never said I didn't believe in God or I believed in God. That's an assumption. Then what is a spirit? Isn't God a spirit? I don't think that's he's talking about aliveness there. He's talking about something completely different. Isn't God a spirit? I'm just not inclined to tie this amazing appearance, anything. Words would never do the magnificence and mind-blowing case. Nothing would ever do it justice. You call it aliveness. Yeah, I give it a few words, but they are useless, really. Timothy, it sounds like you don't know what a spirit is. I used to think I did, Timothy. I was into all that. I was into all this sort of new age, angels, spiritual life, I was a seeker for many years. I used to think I did. And now I don't know anything, Timothy. This human is free from knowing. Knowing is like some sort of having an opinion about something that that no one's ever found is a burden. Does anybody know what a spirit is? Really? They might. Maybe I don't. Maybe you do and I don't. It doesn't really, it's not something I'm interested in. This is beyond ideas like spirit or God. This is the whole of everything. I'm talking about the whole of everything. I'm not talking about bits of it. Spirit. Yeah, Joe says, lol, the person always wants something more. It's funny. Always. Always. Oh, listen, I don't even know where mind is. Me neither. Poor Jin. Oh, listen, but it's nice to believe. Yeah, well, it's a nice secure ground for the me to feel comfortable in. The me needs a ground to feel comfortable in, so it can, so it can have a story if that's where it's comfortable. Timothy, how can you be happy or sad or emotional in any way without understanding what spirit is? How can a 2-year-old laugh its head off and run around joyfully? Does it know what spirit is? How can a dog sprint through the fields, wagging its tail, full of life and joy, and then feel sad? Does it know what spirit is? When something makes you laugh out loud, before that laughter, are you thinking this is spirit laughing? No, you just laugh. Why do you need to know what spirit is? What even is spirit? You're talking about a soul. I have no soul. Timothy, you say you are not interested in what spirits are, but they hold your emotions. No, I'm sorry, I'm just not interested in that subject. I'm just not interested. This is new age stuff. This is non-duality, Timothy. And you're very welcome, but it's not about new age stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that stuff. But that stuff just doesn't interest me. I've been down the new age path donkeys ago. I was into all that stuff. And now this human's free of all that stuff. The black hole of Cygnus times 1. I don't even know what that means, Joe. Hennessy, there is no person and there is only this seem to come together. Sorry, I don't know what you mean to that. Could explain a bit further. Sheila, that's just an idea you have, Timothy. Yeah, and you're welcome to those beliefs. Yeah. You're welcome to them, but I'm not going to let you hoist them on me. I'm just not interested in it. It says, yeah, just an idea that will dissolve. Timothy, that is not New Age, that is throughout history. Well, whatever. It just doesn't interest me, okay? I've been down that road. This human is free of all those concepts. And when there's freedom from all those concepts, life is very, very simple. Very simple. It's just getting out of bed, having a cup of tea, pottering about. painting or going to work, having another cup of tea, listening to music, talking with a friend. Simple, simple, beautiful, beautifully simple. No need for all this, this like having all these concepts about what's holding my emotions and what's all the spirit and soul and levels and pyramids and, and vortexes of reality. I've been down all of that. And it's freaking exhausting. And then one has to have like an opinion about that. And hold to that opinion. I have no opinion about it. Only that I'm just not interested. It says, lovely, life should be simple. Yeah. A life without all that stuff is so simple. Such a burden. Yes, so beautiful. Timothy, you are free because you take no thought of anything or anyone else other than yourself in that room. That's right. I'm just selfishly sitting here talking to all these people and answering their messages and emails all week, for free. I'm so selfish. I have to question why you're here, because I don't think you're actually about taking burdens of others off yourself. Love taught you about, hang on, it was in the room, about taking the burdens of others off yourself. I'm talking about non-duality. I don't think that you are familiar with the subject. I think that's what's going on here. I think it sounds like you've just come across it. This is not a spiritual message, Timothy. Yeah. Bill, I agree. Seeking is exhausting. It is. It is. I know that very well. I did it for decades. Exhausting. I spent loads of money as well. I never got anywhere. Never got anywhere. Because the whole thing is an illusion. It's not going anywhere. You never arrive. You never arrive because it's already here. It's such a beautiful thing that what you're looking for is already here. And if that's appearing as spirit or whatever, God, Jesus, Buddha, and you're happy with that, then fine, But here, no thanks. Paul, I've been down that path too. And in the immortal words of Lindsay Buckingham, I'm never going back again. Yeah. Terrible, terrible. Oh, I used to be so unhappy. Oh my God, I was so unhappy, thinking there was something wrong with me. I'm never going to get there. Everyone else is going to get there. There's something wrong with me. I'll never get there. And ironically, nobody gets there because it's already here. It's already here. Is that beautiful? Time me out. Oh, okay. Listen, Timothy, nobody is free. No. Or not free. No. It says, Timothy, why not go to a spirits channel? Yeah, I think it'd be more your thing. I don't think it's your thing. Voice of the river. Yeah, I got to us too late. Mr. Tim. Joe, the best way to describe it is what it is not. Timothy, you say this is not a spiritual message, but you speak spiritually. Do I? Do I speak spiritually? Yeah, but a spiritual message is to do with something. I see that. I see that the spiritual, for me, spiritual message is something that is outside of what is happening. Something outside of what is actually happening. When what everyone's really looking for is what is happening. They're thinking there's something outside of this, but there isn't. It's already here, shouting, life, life, life. I'm a wall, I'm a floor, I'm the space, I'm a hand, I'm a glass. Shouting life all the time. It's right in front of you, right here. Spiritual message is about something that's not here, getting towards something. This is not about getting towards something. This is pointing out there's nothing to get towards because everything you're looking for is here. But this time, this chat is such a mindfuck. It can come off as spiritual. Yeah, but it's not. No, I know. I'm trying to explain, Ella. It says, how is that someone can speak in the spirit and say this is not of the spirit? We are not speaking of the spirit. Go to a place that speaks in the spirit. There's not a spirit here speaking. It's not spirit. This is aliveness speaking. That is aliveness typing those words. That is aliveness trying to understand what's being said. Doctor and the medics. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I might come across forthright, but I have to be honest as well and say that I'm not interested in spirituality. I'm just not. Yes, I know it might be hard to understand, but this what we're talking about is not about spirit. It doesn't recognize spirit. It's the recognition that everything is life. Alive. Everything is alive. Everything is a mysterious freedom. It's freedom. CDD. Oh my God. Okay, I've got 3 minutes left. Ella, Lisa, ideas about God or spirit or whatever are also part of this, aren't they? No. No. Ideas about God or spirit. Only if they need to be discussed, like the me is discussed or the spiritual path is discussed. But I'm certainly not including any of that as part of freedom. Voice very well. Sorry about the word. Was me. Is here too late, though. The content. If thought does not matter. The content, if thought does not matter. Sorry, I don't know what you're saying, Martin. Hi, Lisa. This is so immediate and undefinable. Yes! Yes, it's so undefinable. And that's what's so frustrating to the person, because it's so undefinable. It's so unknowable. It's unknowing. It's ungetting. It's freedom. I'm talking about freedom. Freedom from everything. Freedom from the person. Freedom from knowledge about freedom. Kim, Tony Parsons is worth paying for. Yes, he is. He doesn't charge much either. Of thought. Sorry, Ella. Content of thought does not matter. No, I don't mind discussing anything, but I think me saying that I'm not interested in spiritual path is fair. It's fair. I'm not. And, and that says it all, doesn't it? I think me saying I'm not interested in the spiritual path says it all. Unless someone wants to ask specific questions about the spiritual path, that's another matter. That's fine. Timothy, all is spiritual. All is spiritual. Yes, you could say that. And in the way that you would say that all is whole. I don't really know what spiritual means actually anymore. I used to be a very spiritual person. Very spiritual. It says actually nothing's known. No, 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 it's not. Joe, God's been made into an object. Yes. Bill, wholeness includes everything. Yes, because there only is everything. There is only everything. And it does include people's opinions on spirituality and stuff. That's fine. I'm not discluding that. But I don't speak like that. I have no interest to talk about it. And why should I? I have no interest in it. It's like asking me to talk about Buddhism. I've got no interest in Buddhism. Martin, beautiful. Yeah. Timothy, everything is life. Means those things seen and unseen are life, doesn't it? Those things seen and unseen. Well, anything that is happening is life. Thinking about unseen things is life. Nobody's doing any of that. No one's doing this, the apparent seeing or the apparent not seeing or the thinking or anything. Nobody's doing it. What I'm saying is everything is life. Life is doing everything. Life is doing it all. Life is in charge. Life is doing this human. There's no person here doing this human. This human is doing itself. Those humans are doing them. Life is doing the human. Life is doing this human. There's no person doing the human. Voice of the river, to say all is spiritual feels like an exaltation to the human spirit. Yes, we are very human spirit-centered, aren't we? Very human-centered. As if humans are like the only thing. There's so much glory. There's so much glory. To think that like this glory, this wonder, needs a human to recognize its glory. The glory is already here. Listen, Lisa, this is such a great talk. Thank you so much, CD. Thanks, Lisa. Spiritual, schmiritual. Yeah. I got nothing against spirituality. It sounds like I have, but I have no interest in talking about it. It's just, as in, I'm interested in talking about it as in answering specific questions about it. You know, does this do this, or can you do this to do this? But as part of this, absolutely not. Joe, life is experience. Experience is life. Life is just life. Life is just life. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go now. And that was a full-on talk. Thank you. Thank you, Timothy. I'm sorry if I'm a bit, like, passionate. But I do appreciate your questions. I appreciate everyone else's questions as well. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, and, you know, I know that this non-duality is a bit for the... bit for the head to get around. Ella, to say God or non-duality can exalt human too. We're talking about the same thing. Oh, come on, just get the idea. I don't want to, like, qualify every single thing I say. Okay, that's the same thing. Okay. Okay, thanks, guys. And hopefully see some of you on Wednesday. And see you next week. Bye.